Okay, good to welcome everyone. Today's shir is being specially sponsored by Shelley Zeitlin with Akar Satov. He had a little bit of a problem. He was in the hospital for 7 hours, and Baruch Hashem, he's fine now. And he gives Haidah to the Rabbeinu Shalom that he came home feeling okay. And Shelley, we're very happy that you're okay and should stay okay. Bizon and Swansik. We are co-sponsored by the Rezepkowitz family in honor of their parents. We're co-sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazan for Shalema for Shoshana Bas Panina and Simone Bas Rachel. We're co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Nishmas Yitzhak Ben Avram Yehuda Levi, by Berich Goldwasser for Shalema for Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadl and Dov Meir Ben Chaya Gittel, and Hakar Satov to the share. By Shalom Fogel, Lila Nishmas Yaakov Zev Ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tziv Yemirim Bas God, Yosef Ben Sim Ben Yaakov Zev, and also by Shelley Zeitlin for the schus of his children, Eli, Orit, and Ora, and for my refuah, Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadl. We are holding on this wonderful Matzah Shabbos by the last two words on not the last two words.
Just the last two words. Omarava.
There's a mistake in my Gemara. Okay. Yeah, I put in the wrong daf in Kol Lashon.
Yeah, it's going to be 80 and 81 tonight, right?
Right. There's an extra page in my Gemara.
No problem. Just correct it at the beginning.
Welcome to Kol Russian. Enter the 4-digit PIN number. Type your 4-digit password. Shalom. Harav Moshe Meir Weiss. Please choose the topic of the shir you'd like to give. For shir, the topic. Tesachem 1. Moshe Meir. Please enter the 3-digit daf number for the daf yomi shir you are about to give. Daf pay. This daf number already exists. You are about to add a shir with the same daf number. You have entered wait mode. As soon as it you are now about to start recording the shir. When you are finished, please hang up.
Okay, as we welcome in Michal and Saba and Tzion Kohn, Mel Zachter. We welcome in Dr. Black, Yaakov Warman, A.B. Spry, Yisrael Fisher, Shelley Zeitlin, Mo Kushner, Dr. Guy, Menachem Yemansky, Irving Fishbaum, Nachman Chapler, Stephen Oltzman, Shimon Klein, Reb Kaniel, Mark Frankel, Eddie Chazan. Eddie, you're going back tonight?
Tomorrow night, Rob.
Tomorrow night. Dov Solkowitz, Dr. Eisenberg, Yitzi Fuchs, Rabbi Kranz, Naftali Jablin, Ilya Shutman, Abe Arbach, Chaim Braun. Here in the shul we have Berish Gessim, Michal Avram Chavin, Reuven Shannon, Reb Halpert. It's great to have you all with us. Okay, so we had discussed what is pshat in the Mishnah that if a person gets mixed up with other people that are on death row. So we gave a pshat that it means that one person, the Bezdin voted on that he should be executed, but they didn't convict him, and then he got mixed up in another group of people. So that's the way we learned pshat in the case. Rava pokes a hole at it, because Rava says, Ihachi hainu diktani Allah, that which we had an a add-on to this.
Where are we holding, Rabbi? Where are we holding?
Top line of Pei Amud Aleph.
Thank you.
Ihachi hainu diktani Allah, that which we taught as an add-on to this Mishnah. Amar Reb Yosef afilu Abba Chalafta beinayim. Even if Abba Chalafta gets mixed up in them, what does that mean? First of all, could it be that the great Abba Chalafta was voted on to be executed? And secondly, if he was, then what's the chiddush even Abba Chalafta? If he was voted on to be executed, so then there's, what do you mean, even him? He would be the same as anyone else. El Amar Rava, there's a whole different shot in the Mishnah. Hachi Kamer, Shnayim Shahayu Oimdin. If two people were standing, let's say Eddie, is a, premium troublemaker, and Irving. And v'yotza chetz mibeinehem. And we saw an arrow shoot out from between them. Now we don't know who it came from. V'harag, and it killed someone. Shnei and Peturin, they're both pater because we can't identify which one the arrow came from. V'amar Rav Yaisi, and Rav Yaisi says that would be afilu Abba Chalafta beineim. Even if it would be Eddie and the great Abba Chalafta, so you can't say, well, it's not Abba Chalafta, you wouldn't shoot an arrow, it must be Eddie. No, it makes no difference. We exempt both of them. Now, it cannot be that on that Rabbi Yehuda says we put them both into the kippah. What do you mean? One of them didn't shoot the arrow. Why are we putting them both in the kippah, in the cell, and feeding them barley until they explode? So it must be that there's something missing in the Mishnah, a chesurei mechsera, and that is v'shosha nigmar dinai, an ox that we voted that he should be, we convicted him, that he should be executed because he killed a man, shenis'arev b'shvarim acherim, ma'alya, that get mixed up with other oxen, and these oxen, these oxen didn't do anything. So, since one of them is a killer and is a menace to society, so cycle and eyesight, we stone all the oxen, and the oxen are expendable. And since there is a killer in their midst, so we stone all of them. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, we don't take direct action. Rather, son l'kippah, we put them in the cell. As we're going to see later on tonight, we first give them very little food until their stomach shrinks, and then we give them a lot of barley until they explode. Vatanya, and the Gemara now says, a brisa, which is similar to our Mishnah, para shehemisa. Here's an interesting case. Eddie has a cow by the name of Elsie. And you understand why Eddie is packing out, things are getting a little too hot for him to handle over here. Even with his going all around America, they're after him, So, Vatanya, Porish Emisa, Elsie killed someone. Va'acha kach yolda. And then after Elsie killed someone, Elsie is a female, she gave birth. So, im ad shaloi nigmar dina yolda, if she gave birth before she was convicted, before she was condemned, v'lada mutter. Im nigmar dina, but if after she was convicted, now once she's convicted, she's asa b'ana, so mishenigmar dina yolda vlada asa. Then the vlad is asa, just like she's asa b'ana. The child that she has is also asa b'ana. Nisarev b'acherim b'acherim b'acherim. If she gets mixed up with others, and then those others get mixed up yet with others, Kain's and Ice on the kippah, we put all of them in the cell, and we feed them first sparsely, and then we force feed them barley until they explode. Reb Shimon, I no, since one of them has to die because it's a menace to society, Mavi and Isan, we bring all of them the best, and V'cycle and Isan. Now, let's understand this case of Elsie who killed and now has a child. Amamar, imad shaloi nigmar dine yolda, if it gave birth before it was convicted, vlada muteris. Now that's not so simple. Because if Elsie was pregnant when it gored, so then the fetus was part of the murder, was part of the killing. And therefore the Gemara says, even if while she gored she was already pregnant, the offspring of an animal that gored while she's pregnant, the din is that it's aser. The offspring is also aser because it was part of the goring. Because, as we know, uber yerach imai, the fetus is a part of the mother. So vlada naku, it and the offspring gored. So too, we know that if an animal is sodomized, so the animal is put to death. Let's say it was pregnant. Vlad hanirvas aser, the offspring of an animal that was sodomized is aser, because hiu vlada nirvu, both the mother and the fetus was involved in the bestiality. So the Gemara says, you're right. We have to tweak this. Ema, im ad shaloi nigmar dina ibra v'yolda. When it gored, it wasn't pregnant yet. Then, after it gored, it became pregnant and gave birth before it was convicted. Imat shaloi nigmar dina, before the conviction, ibra, it got pregnant, but after it gored, v'yolda and gave birth, then vlada mutter, because it wasn't part of the goring, and it wasn't there by the time of the conviction, so it's mutter. Im mishin nigmar dina ibra v'yolda, but if after the conviction it became pregnant and gave birth, then vlada aser. Wait a second. That's not so simple either. You're telling me that if it was convicted, then it gave birth, again became pregnant and gave birth, the child is aser, but the child was sired by a male who was not aser b'hana. It was born by this female that was convicted, by Elsie that was convicted, but it was born, sired by the male bull, was mutter. So, according to the Mandiyama, that says that if you have a gram shel heter and a gram shel iser, that you have, two causes. One cause was aser, the mother, because the mother is aser b'hana, and the bull who is mutter, it's aser. That's good. If you hold zevazeh goyim mutter is mutter, so if after it was convicted a bull slept with it and they had a child, why should that child be aser? There's a gram deheter. The bull was never aser b'hana, so why should it be forbidden? And with great delight, we welcome in Barry Cement, who was sleeping on the job, I understand. Barry, it's good to have you, and we really missed you when you weren't here. But we knew for sure there was a very good reason. We knew that you were preparing somehow for Purim. So now I heard that you were sleeping in order to be stronger for Purim. I understand that completely. We're holding two lines from the top of Pei Amud Beis, and El Amar Ravina Ema Imat Sheloi Nigmar Dina Ibra, if it became pregnant before it was convicted, V'yolda, and then it gave birth, then Vlada Mutter, then the Vlad is permitted, right? The Im Ad Sheloi Nigmar Dina Ibra, if it became pregnant before the conviction, or Meshenigmar Dina Yolda, and when it was convicted, it gave birth. So there, at the time of the conviction, it was in the mother's stomach. When you convict it, the conviction goes on the fetus also, because uber yerachima, v'lada aser, then the offspring is aser, because uber yerachima, because the uber is considered like the thigh of the mother. So if it was in the mother's womb when it was convicted, if it was in Elsie's womb when it was convicted, the conviction goes on it as well, and therefore it's aser.
Did this animal run away that it took so long?
What?
Did this animal run away at one point because it took very long? I mean,
I'll tell you the story now that you're asking me. One of the witnesses was Eddie Chazan. So until they got him to come to witness, they had to find him. He was in Kansas. The next night he was in New Orleans. So by the time he came, that's what happened. Now, good thing you're here, Eddie, because Rabbi Kranz right away understood the answer when I said your name. Now, Shimon Deer is here. That's good. Shimon, we've been missing you. It's good to have you. Now, Kol Chayvei Mises. So we said that if somebody was supposed to get if somebody was supposed to get executed, but he gets mixed up with people that were supposed to get a lesser execution. So let's say Eddie was supposed to be stoned, but he got mixed up with people that are supposed to be strangled. So we strangle him because we can't stone him because we don't know which one. So we strangle the whole group. So the Gemara says, so that means even though Eddie was not warned about strangling, he was only warned about stoning. So the Gemara wants to say, Shmami, no, we could conclude from here that Mosra L'Davar Chamer, that if you were warned about a more serious execution, having Mosra L'Davar Kal, you're automatically warned for a more lenient execution, that was a shaila that the Gemara closed elsewhere in Shas, and they're not sure about. So the Gemara says, no, what happened was over here that Eddie was warned that he'd be executed. He wasn't warned which execution it is, and that's enough. Amar Reb Yirmiyah, now is that enough to warn just that you'll be executed? We don't have to say which execution. That if it was Mechal Shabbos, we don't have to say that it's going to be stoned. Says Gemara, yes. V'aytonu, and it's the following Tana. The Tanya v'shar chai v'misa sheb'Torah, and the other executions in the Torah, Eima misa isa ela be'eda. We have to put them in front of a court of 23. Ve'edim, there has to be witnesses. V'asra, there has to be a warning. V'achi yoidi'u, they have to inform him. Shuchai v'misas besdin. That's it. That he's going to get executed. We don't have to say which one. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, achi yoidi'uhu be'eze misahu nerak. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, we have to tell him which death penalty. Tanakama Yolef Mimikashish. The Tanakama learns out from the one that was chopping the wood. Now, obviously, they didn't warn him which Misa because Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know which Misa until later. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, so Rabbi Yehuda says, no, normally you have to tell which Misa. Mikashish Hayra Shaisan. Mikashish was a special case, an emergency decision, which doesn't apply in usual cases. Now the Mishnah says, "Haniskalim b'nisrafim," that if those that are stoned get mixed up with those that are burnt, so the Gemara says that Reb Shimon holds that we give skila because Sreifa is more chomer. Sreifa, according to Reb Shimon, Sreifa is more severe, and therefore we give the whole group skila because somebody that had skila got mixed up there. Masnele Rabbi Cheskel Rami Brei, when Rabbi Cheskel was teaching this Mishnah to Rami, his son, he switched around the order. Hanisrafim b'niskalim, those that are burnt get mixed up with those that are stoned. That means that one person that was supposed to be burnt gets mixed up with those that are stoned. Reb Shimon says we have to stone him. Yadainu b'skila, because we don't know which one is supposed to be burnt, and burning is more serious. So we stone all of them. Sha'asreifa chamura. So here, the son corrects his father. Amalei Rav Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says, Abba loy tisnaye hachi. Don't teach it that way if those that are burnt get mixed up with those that are stoned. Because then you don't have to say that the reason why we give skila is because sreifa is more chamer. The reason is simply because we go basarayv. And if one person that's burnt get mixed up with a group that is stoned, so we go basarayv and we stone them. Ma'yer yedesreifa chamura teifiklei deruba niskalanenu, that the majority are supposed to be stoned. Elahechi asnei, how should we teach it? Haniskalim b'nisrafim, those that are stoned a person that's stoned gets mixed up with those that are burnt. So normally we would go basarayv and give sreifa. Reb Shimon Aimi Yadayna b'skila, we give skila because sreifa is more chamer. Sreifa chamura. So the Gemara says, yeah, but then we'll have a problem with the latter part of the Mishnah. The Chacham say, Yadayna b'sreifa, we give him sreifa, skila chamura, because skila is more chamer. Now, why do Rabbanan say it's because of skila is chamura? If one person that was skila gets mixed up with a bunch of sreifa, say we give sreifa because we go basarayv. So the Gemara says, why do the Chacham have to say Yodun b'sreifa skila chamura, because skila is more severe? Teifiklei deruba nisrafinen, we should go basarayv. Says Gemara, no, there will say that the Rabbanan are retorting to Reb Shimon. You're right. If those that are skila got mixed up in sreifa, we would go basarayv, and that would be simple. But you made a comment, the amrit sreifa chamura, you made a comment that sreifa is more severe. You should know that that's not so. Lo skila chamura, skila is more severe. And remember, we said that the machlokes is the one that says sreifa is more severe is because we give a baskay and shezinsa sreifa, and the one that says skila is more severe is because that's the penalty for blasphemy and for idolatry. Now Shmuel has an aside over here. The aside is that the son shouldn't have said to his father, "Don't teach that way." That's not the way to talk to a father. As we welcome in Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, a father and son team here tonight. Yeshua Shmuel, it's good to have you together with your father on the share. And Yeshua Shmuel is our 33rd Zoomer of the evening. Daniel Rosenberg had just joined us and chimed in together with Naftali Jablin. So really a nice crowd here as we're still waiting for Marshall to make an appearance, but don't forget, he's on Chicago time, so he's a little bit, on a different clock. But Amalei Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda, Shmuel said to the son, Rabbi Yehuda Shinina, sharp one, don't tell your father, don't say this. That's not a respectful way to talk to your father. The Tanya Harishaya Aviv Over Al Divrei Torah. If a father even was transgressing Torah, he was doing an Aveira, lo yaymer lo abba avart al divrei Torah, don't say disrespectfully, Father, you're transgressing the Torah. You should say him in surprise, Abba, kach ksib Torah? Does it say that in the Torah? So the Gemara says, that's not nice either. That's also disrespectful. Don't say, Rashi says in a Lashon Tmiya, in a lashon of exclamation. Father doesn't say that in the Torah. You should just say informative, not even referring to what he did. You should just say, Abba mikra kasa b'Torah kach. Father, there is a pasuk in the Torah that says this and this, and the father will connect the dots and see that he did something wrong. Okay, we're just going to pause a moment over here to turn over the channel. Unbelievable that we're already turning over a channel over here.